Hello everyone, this is Karen Hightower. I'm so glad you could join me today. Today we're going to do a little watercoloring using Gina K Designs, the Best Things in Life stamp set from Lisa Hetrick, and a couple of Reinkers. I will have the dark spruce is the one we'll start with. I have the image stamped on a piece of Arches cold press watercolor paper, and I use the obsidian amalgam ink from Gina K Designs, and I have applied a couple little drops of the dark spruce on my palette there. It's the Tim Holtz glass matte, and I'm using my black velvet. I believe this is a number 2 or number 4. It's a number 4 watercolor brush, and I've wet that leaf really well, and I'm just going to add some of that dye ink over that leaf, and then I'll spread it out. I have found when I use reinkers that I use quite a bit of water on my image to get that dye to move. Your watercolor paints move really easy because they're watercolor, and the dye to me seems to grab that paper a little bit, which is perfectly fine for doing this watercoloring. And so we're just going to move that color around, and I do keep the paper quite damp. When I started, I was going to do the background a different color, but as I noticed the ink on the paper towel when I would blot my brush, the blue that was coming out in that spruce ink was beautiful. So I thought, oh, that would make a great background. So as we go along, you will see I decided to make it a really loose watercolor and went outside the lines of the leaves and stuff because I'll be using that dark spruce as the background. It kind of gives it a bokeh or just a really loose, wet watercolor effect that I really liked. So we're going to paint this leaf the same way, quite a bit of water, and just blend that color out. And it only takes a tiny bit. As you can see, I'm just barely dipping the tip of that brush in that water. So you can see here where I'm going outside the lines, and we're going to go up under this marigold and add some color. And in this painting, I do wet every area before I add the ink. I might have cut that part out, but every area is dampened with the water before I add the dye ink. And so I just took it on, and you can see how that water, the ink spreads in that water. And if your ink isn't spreading when you pick it up, if you add some water to it before you go to your paper, and your paper is real wet, then it will spread really well. And we're just adding some of the darker color up under the leaf so it gives it more definition and some contrast. I just love the blue that is in this color. So I have grabbed the dark carnation and my light carnation reinkers, and you can see I'm just using a tiny bit. I'm going to wet the flower, and the color will only go where the water is. So my background, I did let it dry before I moved to the flowers because I really didn't want the colors mixing. That pink and the spruce makes kind of a really dark color. You'll see on the little flower buds. So I wanted to keep that separate. So I'm just dabbing a little color, and then I'll blend it in or blend it out. And I am using a larger black velvet brush. It's a number 8 to spread the water on the flowers and to blend the color out. And we'll do all 3 flowers that way. I won't make you watch me do all 3, but we will do all 3 before it's over. And you can see that I'm just blending the ink around. This is really a quick way to watercolor, and it was fun. It didn't take a long time to do. And here I'm wetting the background because I decided I wanted a little pink in the background to make it look maybe like some flowers off in the distance, or just to bring in that color from the background to make it all go together really well. And then I'll be adding the light Carnation ink up here to give it some color up in this corner. I love the way it spreads like that. Anyway, so I blended out some and it just worked really well. And I needed a little more dark spruce to add around some of the flowers and the leaf, because I felt it needed a little more contrast and definition. So that's what we're doing. We're just going to add some more color in here. And for the center of the flowers, that's what we'll do next. I decided to add some purple, and after I added it, I decided I didn't really care for it. So I'll let that dry a little bit, and then I grabbed some more of the dark Carnation and went over it because I didn't like the purple. But the purple did make that dark Carnation a little darker. So it worked out. It was fine. And that's the thing, if you have a color you don't like, just try covering it. It may bleed through some, but it'll be okay. I use my white gouache to do a little bit of splattering. And then I'm going back and adding some more color to my flowers to make the throat of the flower a little darker. Now I use the Sentiment Sheets Birthday Babble for my greeting, and I'm using the foam squares to pop it up. I'm adding a little bit of the Connect glue and some Rhinestones from Gina K Designs. I'll list all products below, but that way it gave it a little sparkle and shine. And that is our finished card project for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you so much for spending some time with me. I appreciate you. And if you will, please hit the subscribe button. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. I'll see you again real soon. Have a good one.